Welcome, everyone, to the Y'all Heard podcast hosted by Ella Burke.
Jerry, thank you for that lovely introduction. It was beautiful. Hey, guys. Welcome. As Jerry said, I today have a very special guest with us, which I am super thrilled about. We just finished up a lovely lunch at the Hall's Pizza Kitchen. Shout out. So, context to how I know Jerry. Jerry was actually my professor for probably about 4 classes at OSU. I think I took about as many as you offered.
Probably.
Yes, I did.
You had more than one.
I warmed up very quickly, became very fond of him very quickly. But yes, my marketing professor, Oklahoma State University, for all of my current collegians watching, if you are in anything related to business and you need some marketing credits, I highly recommend you take any class that Jerry has to offer, because not only is his course fantastic, but he is also fantastic. So,
thank you for that. I do have a question.
Yes.
You said you called me a special guest.
Yes.
How many guests have you had on your podcast so far?
I'm looking at Kelsey right now laughing. Okay, so funnily enough, my boss did come on.
So I'm not the first.
No, but you kind of are in a way. So my boss came on. We had like an hour-long discussion, okay?
Good.
And I was uploading and transmitting the audio to our Dropbox or whatever, so my producer could like get to work chopping it up, what have you. And he's listening to the audio, and it picked up probably every other word, but it wasn't picking up the full conversation. So that was really tough. I was glad it was my boss first, though, and not you, so I could work out the kinks and impress a little bit more. But no, you're kind of like, I would say you're 1.5.
So I can say with confidence, I'm in the top two of guests you've had.
Yes, you're going to be the first published guest.
Okay. Wow. I'll take it.
I know. Add that to your resume and your
LinkedIn later.
Your list of distinguishments. Awesome. But Jerry had a huge impact on my college experience. My beautiful McKnight mentor, Kimberly Burns, introduced me to him early on in my college experience, and we just became the best of pals, truly. So I learned so much from you, not only in the classroom, but outside. I feel like you've set a wonderful example for the student experience at OSU as far as the power of personal, specifically relating to Spear School of Business, as he is so beautifully repping today. So what are your remarks about our meeting, the situation of us meeting?
You represent one of the reasons why I love to do what I do and teach, because you have students across a whole spectrum of, I guess, willingness to engage with a professor, right? Mm-hmm. Some who just want to be anonymous all semester, get the grade and leave, mm-hmm. but some who are willing to invest in a relationship, and it's very rewarding when mm-hmm. that happens. And you already mentioned another person, but I have a sort of a mental list of people that are special because of the relationship we developed around our interaction in class. And you're on the list. Kimberly Burns is on the list. And there are others. But those relationships, what's so rewarding is they persist. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that I knew I was going to be in Oklahoma City today, mm-hmm. and I could text you and say, hey, let's go to lunch, and you wanted to do that, and you were willing to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
So it was fun. I value that highly. And, there's always a handful of those kind of relationships that develop every semester. And I tell all my students like you, and mm-hmm. so I'm reminding you of this, and anyone else who either is a student or will be a student and is listening, my retirement strategy depends on you, mm-hmm. because what I need to happen is you or another student or multiple students to hire me as a highly paid consultant, mm-hmm. and actually want very little real work from me. That's my strategy. So hopefully you're close to being able to do that for me.
I would pay simply for your presence alone.
We're getting close.
Honestly, you're getting real close.
That's what I needed to hear.
I'd love for you to stick around maybe a couple more years so my sister may have the chance of having you, but obviously it's on your own time. But yes, for context, Jerry, my favorite story that I love to tell people to really describe the kind of person that he is. So in one of the numerous classes I had taken from him, one day after class, I was just talking to him, catching him up on the scoop, if you will. My car had died in my apartment parking garage, which was definitely inconvenient, and it was also backed in. So I did not do the backing in. It was my boyfriend, I'm sure. And it was a big dilemma. I didn't know what to do. Couldn't get it out of the garage. We tried jump starting it the night before. It just wasn't working. So it was definitely an issue with the battery. Jerry, without even being asked, was like, hey, I get done at 4 p.m., whatever today. Let me head over there and let's see what we can do about it. So he comes over to my complex garage, and he literally uninstalls the battery from my car, puts it in his car. I go with him to this auto body shop that you have great relations with, from what you had explained.
I know the guy who owns it.
We love that. And so, Power Personal, there you go again. And so anyways, took it there, got it tested, figured out I needed a new battery. Not only did he take me to go get that fixed, but we went and got gelato too. And then
we had to wait.
Yeah, but then he reinstalled the battery for me in my car, and you did not have to do that. And seriously, it was one of those times that I was like, okay, my faith in humanity is restored a lot more that day. I mean, I don't know if I'd had somebody do something like that nice for me, just like out of the kindness of their hearts, just to like help me with a problem like that. And so made a really huge impact on me. I referred to him oftentimes in college as my bonus dad. I got to know his wife, Lisa, too. We love Lisa here at Y'all Heard. She's the bomb diggity. And then all the Rackley children, I hope I'm in the honorary Hall of Fame of honorary bonus kids.
You're like a daughter.
Yes, that really is going to make me. I haven't cried yet on here, so don't let's not start now.
Well, that's not what we're shooting for.
No,
today.
not what we're shooting for, but that would be happy tears. I'm honored, and it's a privilege to be on that list of students that are the reason of why you do what you do. So take me through, for a little bit of context, like what got you into teaching, and specifically at OSU?
I had a chance. So going back to 2007,
Mm-hmm.
I was employed in industry as a marketing executive, and I got asked to speak in someone's class. And so I did, and I loved it, and I liked being around students. It was fun, and then I got asked again. And so I remember thinking, I think it'd be fun if I could like teach a class once in a while.
Yeah.
I think I would really like that. I might be good at it, but I'd sure like to try it. So I called a faculty friend of mine, Tom Brown.
We love
and
Tom.
I said, hey, what does a guy have to do if he wants to teach a class? I thought he was going to say, well, you need to enroll in a PhD program and spend years getting this doctorate degree. And he said, you want to teach a class? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, let me call you back. And he ran down to the department head's office. Next thing you know, I'm getting a call from that guy. And he says, let's meet. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, this is an interview. I better really come across like I know what I'm talking about, or I'm not going to get a chance to do that. And we sat down to meet. And the then department head asked me, he goes, so what do you want to teach? Would you rather teach this class or that class? I was like, this class? He goes, okay. What days of the week would work for you? And we figured that out. And he said, and what time of the day would work for you? And so I said, probably over lunch. He goes, okay. And I was like, I think I just got the job. And so I did. I taught one class in the fall of 2007. And each semester after that for a while, I kept teaching and just enjoyed it more and more. And when I had a chance to jump over, kind of do it full time, I did.
No, that's incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that story.
Now you know.
Yeah, I should have asked long ago. But no, that's awesome. So what would you say, obviously that was new for you, like the experience of teaching a class. What would you say was like one of the most defining moments that kind of made you want to go full time and really commit to the bit of teaching at OSU?
What made me want to do it more?
Like I would say, student interaction, like a moment in class that you had early on that made you realize that this is kind of where like your passion wanted to be redirected.
Sure. I think one of the first moments and maybe most memorable was I felt like my first semester teaching was really rough because I hadn't done it before, and you had to prep the whole class, and you had to get up there twice a week and deliver material and sound like you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And so it was a bit of a struggle for me to climb that learning curve and do that. And I got to the end of the semester and felt like I did very poorly. I think I failed at this.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit discouraged about it and was really thinking about, should I keep doing this? Because I don't think I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be easier. And that was in December, so the fall graduation. And I ran into the department head shortly after that, and he stopped me and he goes, "Hey, I want to share something with you." He said, "I was at graduation, and I just stopped one of our graduates, and I said, 'So tell me, who's a professor you've had since you've been here who you just made a big impact on you?'" And he said, "Your name was mentioned." And I was like, wow, I think anybody would say that about me after the semester of teaching for the first time.
Yeah.
But that was the difference maker. That's when I realized, you know what, I need to keep doing this because I think I can get better at it. And it apparently does make a difference for some.
No, it definitely does. I think that's a textbook example of your half-ass is most everyone else's whole ass. And
can I quote you on that?
Absolutely. My mom used to tell me that in school all the time whenever, like, because I was uber perfectionist. And I mean, I'm sure you could probably catch on to that a little bit in college as well, just a smidge. It's funny, me being type B, but me also being rather perfectionistic, if that's even a word. Wow, grammar police. But just a perfectionist in general when it comes to like the work that I put out as far as like academics. So no, I think that's really beautiful. And I think there are a number of people that I'm friends with that watch this that would say the exact same thing as far as just you being one of the most impactful people throughout our experiences at OSU. And I hope. I also hope you realize too, like there are a lot of points for students where it's like, is school for me? And I feel like you've been such a big part of like retention rate probably for a lot of people, because it just takes really like one person to believe in you or to see potential. And I feel like you not only are great at doing it overall for like each of your classes, but like you make people feel special by just simply remembering their names. Like you remember specific details about them. And like, there were several professors I had throughout college that weren't like that. And so just you taking the time to like invest individually in each of your students, I think is just it's so important. And it really like pioneers the way I think a lot of people should be teaching and the way that things should be done in the classroom. So thanks for that.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. I will say also, at my age, it's getting harder to remember names. And I see students all the time like, "Hey," and I'm trying to remember a name, but don't worry, I will never forget you, Emily. Yeah.
It's funny, too, because my mom's named Emily, so I've answered to that a lot of my life, too. I'll, like, pick up the phone and like, "Hey, Emily." I'm like, "Hey, actually," like, my family members will call, and I'm like, "It's actually Ella," so it's okay. That's a name I'm used to being called anyway, so I'll take it.
Didn't even know.
Anything with E's works, right? It's all good. But, yeah, so we'll break down a little bit what your courses looked like. Also, the different books and the different courses that you've actually designed yourself and created and authored yourself. I think that's also very impressive, and I think you should talk about it.
Okay, well, I think everyone needs to drink a Celsius first. If that's where you want to go. No,
Jerry's a distinguished author.
I am an author. I have co-authored a couple of textbooks, which was an experience. I'm glad I did it. I've also developed course materials all on my own. So
it's awesome.
But I mean, what I do is I teach based on my experience. I'm lucky. I've had over 4 decades of experience professionally.
You're not that old.
I am that old. Starting 10 years at IBM and other places, and you accumulate a lot of experience and make mistakes that are good teachers. So anyway, yeah, I know a few things.
Yeah, you do. I would definitely say that's part of what made your course material so memorable, is I feel like a lot of the connections that you had developed over time through whatever part of your career it was. Like, for instance, we had like Deidre, we had, the Aspen coffee guy that owns that place come and talk to us. We had the Chick-fil-A branch manager of Stillwater. I mean,
wow, you remember?
No, I remember a lot of them. Like, there's one that was really interesting that I'm forgetting right now, but it'll come to me later. But no, we had a lot of those, and those were specifically ones in parts of the course that I remember most. And I know that you've probably seen a lot of people that kind of have their heads nowhere or on their phones or whatever whenever these people are talking. But I think a lot of these people are way more engaging than you realize, and a lot of your course material in particular is a lot more engaging than you realize. Because there were professors that I will admittedly say, like, Snoozeville, USA, like, on my phone a bit, but there's really no need or no desire to be, because like everything that you did present to us each day was very engaging. And I think Wordle was also a very big part of that.
Which I still do, start a class.
It's too good.
I try to structure class in a way that if I were a student in this class, what would I want to know and how would I want to hear it?
Yeah. No, it's incredible. What new speakers have you brought to class recently? Which I say recently as if I was in college like 10 years ago. I mean, it was like one, but...
You're adulting quite well now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Driving a nice, spiffy Volvo.
Thank you. She's all reliable. We love her.
I always bring in guest speakers. So there's a few folks that are coming in this fall.
Mm-hmm.
There's a company in Tulsa called Idea Ranch. They're an agency. And a former student of mine, a Spears alum, a guy named Trevor Kilblain.
Okay.
If Trevor happens to watch this, there's your shout out. He came and spoke to my digital marketing class in a previous semester. Was awesome because he does this stuff every day.
Yeah.
And has great experience, great stories to tell. So he'll come back and speak. I just became acquainted with a lady who is the marketing executive at a company called Capriati's. It's a restaurant. They have a sandwich shop in Tulsa.
Okay.
I think they have several, right? But she runs their marketing, and a lot of what they do is digital. She's going to come and speak to my class. So I have some other asks out. I'm still kind of figuring out exactly who's going to come when.
Yeah.
But I try to bring in people like that who are doing the actual work we're teaching students about, so they can hear what it's like out there in the real world, what's being done, and that the things they're being taught are actually relevant.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was another part I forgot to mention. You've had like a lot of your alum and students come back and speak, which I think is really, really awesome. And I think that too, the willingness for them to, obviously sometimes they're at OSU for recruiting conveniently in general, but just them being willing to take time to come and speak to your class, I think that speaks volumes about your impact on your students individually as well. So I think that's really awesome. What would you say in your college experience I'm trying to think of how to frame this question. Drew, cut the part out where I'm like trying to figure it out. Just give me a sec. I'm trying to think of how I want to ask this without making it double-edged. Okay, yeah. Were there any parts of your college experience that you've looked at in retrospect, and did you want to incorporate the same as a professor or do a lot differently than what you had when you went to college? Sorry, I kind of asked that funky.
No, I think I understand what you're asking. And one episode in particular really stands out to me, and I think kind of typifies my attitude and approach. So some background, I was a computer science major. And I tell my students that, but a lot of them go, then how come you're teaching marketing? It's because my degree got me hired by IBM, which they really liked a comp-sci degree, but they said, we're going to put you in sales and marketing, and so that launched me on a whole career of sales and marketing. Yeah. But with that said, I remember taking one particularly tough comp-sci course. It was an upper division and taught by a very respected professor, Donald Fisher. And I remember we were about to have an exam. So it was mid-semester or something like that. And we'd been given assignments and had to write some programs. And the workload was pretty heavy. And I remember he brought up in class that, and oh, by the way, you have a test. And somebody in the class complained like, why are we having to take a test, and the timing, and they mouthed off about it. And I love the way he handled it, because he didn't get mad back, but he gave us a reality check, which we all needed. And I'll never forget what he said. He goes, look, you all think that when you graduate, you're going to be done taking tests. And he said, and you couldn't be more wrong. He said, when you get out of this place, you're going to be tested in some way every day. And the difference is the stakes will be a lot higher than just a grade. And he said, so get ready. So if you can't handle, taking a real test in here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fool yourself and think that when you get out in the real world, in a career, doing a job where you're getting paid and expected to work, that you're going to be able to handle all the tests that are going to come your way. Figure it out now. And I was like, yeah. And that stayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of students look at some of my policies
Mm-hmm.
and have I don't accept late assignments.
Yeah.
And I expect you to be in class, and I have an attendance policy. And they're like, how come you're so harsh? And I'm like, because this is preparation for what you're going to face when you get out there. You're going to get paid to do a job. They're going to expect you to show up on time, do the work,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, and do it on time. You are not going to get, for example, an RFP
Mm-hmm.
that you and several competitors are going to respond to and be late turning it in.
Yeah.
And having the company that issued it go, oh, that's okay, we'll still take it.
No
They're
sweat.
like, no, you missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not going to get this business.
Yep.
So because I come out of that background professionally, I kind of bring that into the classroom.
Yeah.
And I think some students really appreciate that and understand where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some think, wow, you're just harsh. But that's who I am.
Those are kids that still have their parents make their doctor's appointments for them. So
Maybe, yeah.
I would say collectively, that's probably a common denominator among a lot of them.
There's a pretty wide range of motivation and maturity that we see.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I don't think those policies are, inferring that you're a hard ass. But I think that you, with how committed you are to your role in Spears and as a professor, you feel like you wouldn't be doing your job to the fullest if you weren't preparing us for real world scenarios. Because that's the thing, like same with high school, we're getting prepared for, I like how they've changed high school a little bit to if college isn't for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
There are certain programs or classes and stuff that you can take now that
Right.
kind of are more stratified or just adhere more to like what students' interests may be. But I think that's like, that you kind of have a goal, and there's a reason that you're taking these tests, and there's a reason that you're held to a standard like the ones that you've created, and it's so that way you can be more successful once you fly the coop.
Well, I would wager that more students, and I'm just being honest
Mm-hmm.
here, aren't going to remember the things I taught them about marketing analytics or digital marketing or services marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But they might remember the stance I took about certain things they had to do to succeed in the class.
Yeah.
And carry that with them more than the actual content of the class.
Yeah, absolutely. That was actually something I talked about on last week's episode. I was talking about the things that I was unlearning, and one of them was you don't have to be liked in order to be impactful. And I talked about how there are plenty of instances that I can think of in my upbringing where my parents did something that I may not have agreed with at the time. But then looking back at it, I was like, okay, that was actually really beneficial to me, and I actually learned something there. And I think that kind of goes for the role that you play too. But I mean, I really can't say that I know anybody that doesn't like you. Not blowing smoke up your butt, but
I can come up with a list.
you could. Well, I mean, they're wrong. Not like to not like you. I don't really think you're very slow to anger. You're very, very patient with people, even when they don't necessarily deserve it. You extend a lot of grace, not only in the classroom, but outside too. Like you're willing to work, and you're willing to listen and understand the people that you're talking to every day. And I think that's really important. So I think this is a question that a lot of people have for their professors. Do you look at Rate My Professor reviews?
I do not.
I think you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Well, it's funny. My kids do, and my kids have told me, "Oh, you should look at Rate My Professor." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, fine." I don't look at it.
I think for you, so for me, I would say the equivalent. Like if you looked at your Rate My Professor, it's the equivalent of me looking at a post that my mom has made of me on Facebook and looking at her friends' comments. Makes you feel a little bit better inside. It's true. You get a lot. Like, I don't think I had another professor in college that had as good of Rate My Professor reviews as you did. And that's the thing. It's the same thing with Yelp. It either, you had to have exceptional service to take the time to leave a review for a lot of people. I'm not saying that's how it should be, but you've either had been exceptional for somebody to leave a review or really bad.
Really terrible.
really terrible.
So I do have one ratemyprofessor.com story, though.
Okay.
Share.
Yes, do share.
So I think they may have changed this since this happened, but used to be, and I knew this because I looked a long time ago at either my rating or someone's rating, but I haven't in years. You used to be able to rate a professor's hotness, okay? Now, I don't think they do that anymore, but the way you did it is they had a scale of 1 to 5 chili peppers, right? And you would rate, and you would, yeah, I'm not making this up. And so at the end of class,
looking it up to see if they have it.
This was years ago. I don't think they have it anymore. Look it up. But just for fun, at the end of the semester, I told my students, I said, okay, look, let's have a little fun here. I said, I know some of you might go leave me a rating on ratemyprofessor.com. Say whatever you want. I don't care. I said, but one thing I would love for you to do is give me a hotness rating. And I said, let me tell you why. Because it will mess with all the future students who see that I have these chili pepper hotness ratings. And then they walk into my class on the first day and they go, wait, no, I got to be in the wrong class. I can't be in the right place. Not with this guy. And I actually had a student or two who did it, and I was dying. I thought, okay,
way.
That is so hilarious.
It doesn't look like they have that anymore.
No, I don't think they do. But back in the day, they did.
That's what they had.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm scrolling on here looking at yours. You've got a lot of 5-star reviews, man.
Well, that's great to know.
It's pretty great. I'll read you one of them.
No, you don't need to do that.
This one's sweet. This one's good. Okay. Jerry is one of the best professors in Spears. He cares about each of his students and wants you to succeed truly. He keeps lectures engaging and provides fill-in-the-blank notes for exams. The class is not hard if you do the work. Few discussion posts, quizzes, 2 exams, and a couple of assignments. Class is out of 1,000 points. Highly recommend.
Wow. Okay, good.
See? That's what most of them are.
That's nice to know.
Yes, it's very good. You've done a great job. I mean, honestly, if they had Michelin star ratings for professors, I think you'd have a couple by now.
Okay.
Huge for the program. No, I think they should. I think we should petition that they bring the chili peppers back.
Okay, I'm not going to be the one to make that petition.
No, well, of course not. But who's to say I can't? I'm no longer affiliated with the university, if you will. So might have to give somebody a call. Hey, just for fun, you should bring this back. No, I think that's a great story. Given your love for history and the outdoors, especially Colorado Rockies,
yes.
We love it. How do you balance your professional life with personal adventures, the importance of work-life balance, if you will, and how might travel inform your thinking about teaching?
Oh, wow. That's a multidimensional question.
It is. I ask a lot of those. I need to be better about asking.
Well, I commend you for remembering that I really like history and I love the outdoors.
I do.
And having just returned from a vacation in Colorado, how appropriate.
Truly.
It's on my mind. How do they inform what I do? Is that part of your question?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny, and I'm not going to be able to remember everything I said, but when we go to the outdoors, Lisa and I, my wife and I, our favorite activity is hiking.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were in Colorado recently, we had 2 or 3 different hikes. One of them especially beautiful. But last summer, I was on a hike, and I was reflecting for some reason, what does hiking teach us about life? What are the applications from just hiking like we do about life?
Mm-hmm.
And so here's a shameless self-plug. If you go look me up on LinkedIn, you're going to find an article that I wrote about what hiking teaches us about life.
Okay.
And I don't remember everything I wrote in it, but like some of the lessons are, for example, you need to look up once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm hiking on these trails, I use trekking poles now. I truly look like, the old geezer out on the trail because I'm using these trekking poles. I don't want to take a wrong step and twist an ankle or break an ankle. So I'm looking down at the next place I'm going to set my foot. But then I have to stop and say, wait a minute, look where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're surrounded by these beautiful mountains, and there's a lake over there and all these trees. And so, just like in life, once in a while, stop and look up and see what's around you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is the reward often comes at the end. We were just out in Colorado. We hiked a trail to a place called Ptarmigan Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a really tough trail, but as a lot of them are, it was uphill the first half. And here I'm a flatlander living in Oklahoma, and I'm hiking at 12,000 feet, and I can't hardly draw a breath.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, why am I doing this? You know, my heart is racing, and I can't breathe. And yet you get to the end of the trail, and you look at this lake in this magnificent alpine bowl, and you see these columbines blooming over there, and there's still a patch of snow over there. And you're just like, this was so worth the effort.
That's awesome.
I'm so glad I did it. And so anyway, I wrote a post about all the things you can learn about life and work from hiking. So go out there and find it and leave a comment.
I haven't even read that article. I need to take a gander.
Check it out.
Take a gander at it.
It's out there.
No, I definitely will. I think that's very poetic. That's beautiful. That's really awesome. No, I'll definitely we'll have to read it together and leave a review. I'm kidding.
Please do.
I will. No, Jerry has been a great resource for me, both personally and professionally. I would say, I want to talk about the importance of LinkedIn from your perspective, because you're very active on there, quite a few connections, posting very regularly. I admit I normally do a annual post where I kind of life update everyone, if you will. Probably need to be a little bit better about that, but when I feel this is bad, but when I feel very secure within my job, I kind of stop paying attention to what everyone else is thinking about what I'm doing. Yeah. But I need to be a little bit better about keeping people updated, because I think too, not even just from a professional standpoint, but also just like making sure that you and, well, there's no professor truly like you, but you and other professors that have had impacts on, and just people along the way that have had impacts on my professional career should know that their impacts were definitely felt and are still contributing to my growth professionally. So what's the importance of LinkedIn to you?
LinkedIn is important. It is a tool. I would encourage all students to get active on it. And then let's think about your generation. The generation is coming up now. It's second nature, right? You don't need to be trained or taught.
Yeah.
What you need mostly is just to understand the value of LinkedIn. It's a different audience, right? You're spending time on TikTok or Instagram, and doing that for, personal reasons, social reasons, building relationships, etc. LinkedIn is very business oriented. And so it's a great place to showcase who you are to prospective employers and to make connections with people who are like you, have similar interests, or with companies that you might want to work for. I tell students that you're probably not going to have a lot of success going and identifying, the CEO of a company you really want to work for and reaching out and go, hey, do you have any jobs open? Would you hire me? Can we talk? I mean, sometimes that probably works, okay? But what's much more likely to happen and ultimately be successful is for you to go follow a person and a company, look at what they are saying on LinkedIn. I know anytime anybody makes a comment on stuff that I've put out there, it gets my attention.
Yeah.
Now, often it's people I know and I'm connected to, and I'm like, oh, look, Ella made a comment about my post. Awesome.
I'm your number one fan
but
on there.
once in a while, it's someone like, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
And they took the time to read and look at what I put out there, and they made a comment about it, and that gets my attention. So if you want to get the attention of somebody, that's a great way to do it, is be genuine, right?
Yeah.
Read what they've posted, make a comment and say, hey, this is really impactful or useful, or I'm able to apply this with what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the probably most effective way to use LinkedIn when you're a student or starting your career.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great answer. Now, something I want to bridge into, I've noticed a lot of LinkedIn posts on my timeline. And listen, I'm no, perfect person. I have used ChatGPT to refine what I've already created. Okay. But I feel like more and more often now, with not even just personal posts on normal social media platforms, but especially LinkedIn, I can tell when somebody has used ChatGPT to create whatever it is that they're writing on a post. So, one, how has the use of AI and platforms like ChatGPT or ChatGPT changed the way that you've taught, and also like changed your perspective just like on marketing as a whole?
It's definitely having an influence. Has it changed the way I taught? Not so much the way I teach. I think it changes what I teach.
Mm-hmm.
And so you might expect someone in academia to go, oh, AI is bad and students shouldn't use it, and do your own thinking. I mean, there's an element of truth to that.
Yeah.
But it's just the latest tool to help you get things done. It's not at a point yet where it can do all your thinking for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned him earlier, Trevor Kilblane, who works for Idea Ranch,
Mm-hmm.
made a great comment in class about the use of AI. It'll generate a ton of content very quickly, but it's kind of soulless content.
Definitely.
Right? And so I think as a marketer, the way to use AI is give me 10 ideas for a piece of content about this, or take this piece of content that I wrote, polish it up, summarize it, turn it into bullet points. It can help you get where you need to go faster, but it still requires your input. You need to inject your soul, your passion into it
Yeah.
if you really want it to be engaging, because it's obvious to me when I have discussion posts in some of my classes, and I can tell when a student has taken the prompt and fed it into ChatGPT and then just basically copied and pasted, because I'll read 10 discussion posts all prompted the same way through ChatGPT, and they're all variations of the exact same set of content, almost down to the word count. It's kind of comical. So you can tell. What will be interesting to see what happens in industry is, will the algorithms of any of the major companies like Google, when it comes to search, or any of the social media companies, will they punish when they detect the content's AI generated? Will they deprecate it, not give it the prominence that true human created content? We don't know yet. That's a big question that's out there. But my philosophy is, why run the risk? So go ahead and use ChatGPT. And I've used it. So for example, I just wrote a brand new chapter for one of my textbooks.
Yeah.
And what I did was I said, okay, give me a detailed outline. It was a chapter on sales, the relationship between sales and marketing.
Yeah.
And I said, give me an outline of things a chapter on what marketing needs to know about sales should cover. And it generated a detailed outline for me. And I looked at the outline and I thought, okay, it's good. It's not great. And so I went in and I said, you know what? I'm killing these 2 points because I don't think those are right. But I really like these 2, and I'm going to modify these 2. So it gave me a great starting point, because nothing's worse than a blank screen or a blank piece of paper when you're trying to get started on writing content, right? So it gave me an outline, and then I did the writing. And so what I decided I wanted to do, at the end of every section, I want to put a really good summary. And so I took everything I wrote and I fed it back into ChatGPT and said, give me a 1-paragraph summary of this section of the text.
Yeah.
And it churned it out, and it was great. And I thought, okay, that's much better than I could do trying to do it on my own.
No, yeah.
So that's how I use the tool and how it's helped me, and I think that's a great way to use it for marketing.
No, I agree too. I mean, I think it definitely supplements. I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like when I graduated in 24, that was just when it was starting to become popular.
Yeah.
I had never had to use it. They had just started the AI detection that second semester of my senior year, or junior, senior year, whatever, my third year before I graduated. But no, something that was super frustrating for me. So this was before I had even known that this was a resource, but they had just started implementing the AI detection through Canvas. And I remember submitting papers, and I used those, I forget what the term is for them, the dashes that are super, that's the way that people are able to detect if something's AI. What are those called? M-dash. Okay, yes.
M-dash, yeah.
There it is. Okay. I've used those since high school. You could probably ask my, shout out Kristen Pappas, love you girl, my AP English literature teacher for 2 years in high school. If she took papers, if she still has them, I'm sure she doesn't. Please, I hope you did not keep them. But if you saw what my writing looked like when I was a junior, senior in high school, I would say like now it's at an advanced level, a more advanced level, but I was still using those punctuation marks and using more advanced vocabulary than, normal. Writing has always been like a strength of mine, but it would really piss me off when I would write these papers. I would sit there for hours on end, get writer's block, have to take a break, come back to it, pour myself into something just for it to get flagged for potential use of AI, even when I didn't use it.
Yeah,
like that was really tough for me. And I think that's another thing too, is it's like, obviously there are different tells now where you can really figure out if somebody used AI or not. But in the beginning stages of like the AI detection, I was like, oh my gosh, like I hope to God I don't get called in for this. I mean, check my search history. I don't care, because, just real authentic work that I really put a lot of myself into was being questioned as if it was done by a robot. And I was like, I mean, damn, does mine sound soulless? Like, I sure hope it doesn't. So, no, I think it's been very interesting to see. I probably have depended on it a little too much, just even in like the career that I'm in right now. Like for like if there's a dumb email that I receive and I don't, necessarily want to pour a lot of time or thought into it. I mean, and I'll give it kind of like a basis of what I want it to say and then critique it and maybe tell it to make it sound more human. But I feel like it's kind of contributing, the excess use of it is contributing to a lot of incompetence, not only within, an educational setting, but also like a workplace setting. Because like I said, I'm starting to notice it more, not only in, emails that I get from people, but LinkedIn posts and everything else. And I'm just like, I just want to know what's coming out of your mouth. Like, I want to know what's in your brain.
I think it's caused all of us to have a new filter.
Yeah.
Which says, am I reading a human's work or is this the result of AI?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know.
Yeah.
Because if it's AI produced, maybe I don't care about it as much.
Exactly.
I care about what you think, not what your prompt to ChatGPT.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'm no stranger to using it. I've depended on it probably too much at this point, but I know I need to get better at it because I'm seeing like my comprehension of certain things, like even when I'm just leisure reading, like I've picked that back up since I've graduated college, but like my comprehension ability and my the level at which I used to comprehend, I feel like has kind of deteriorated because I'm so used to having AI like formulate all of these different things for me or like dumb things down for me so I can fully, understand them.
Well, it's having a huge impact though on the world of marketing.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in a bad way.
Yeah,
a lot of it's a good way, but one of the big areas that marketers are really trying to figure out, okay, what do we do with this is search, right? So you think about when you run a search in Google, if you're still using Google, the first thing you get most of the time now is the AI overview.
Yeah.
Right? So Google has used its own Gemini, generative AI technology. It goes and summarizes a response for your search that more often than not, you look at and go, yeah, that's what I needed.
Yeah.
And so it results in 0 clicks, right? Normally, we would look at the search results and go, oh, that one looks good, click, and then go to that page.
Yeah.
And so what's the impact on a brand who's trying to market itself? Well, now I'm not getting as many clicks.
Yeah.
On the searches that used to bring people to my website because the AI overview is answering their questions. And the other thing that's causing it is one thing we did a lot of, or still do a lot of in marketing, is search marketing with pay-per-click ads.
Yeah.
Okay, where do those show up? Well, the AI overview is first.
You have to scroll.
And you have to scroll. If there's an ad, it may not be on what we call the top of fold in the page. And so everybody's asking themselves in the marketing world, what is the impact AI is having on the effectiveness of search marketing and the pay-per-click ads we do that? And I think the general consensus is it's declining, but by how much?
Yeah.
And where's Google getting all this content to do the AI overviews?
Well, and
from
also
my website and your website and their website.
Yeah.
But are you getting clicks directed to it?
No. Well, and that's another thing is you have major brands, whether they're small or large, especially smaller ones. Like we're kind of in those beginning stages. Like we just have created a website for one of the companies that we're a parent company of. And, you pour dollars into SEO search engine optimization. And then whenever like somebody looks something up that's relevant to your website or your company, and you have that big fat AI overview of everything, it's like, it's a waste of money, honestly. And I think too, it's definitely having to redirect the way that people are doing things. And I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah,
necessarily.
we're having to change our whole strategy around search.
Yeah.
Because you'll notice on the AI overview, off to the side of the overview, it does show links to the most prominent places it went and harvested content.
Yeah.
And you want to be one of those links. And
Exactly.
so there's still a way to win at the SEO game, but the rules are changing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, another thing that's relative to AI that I've been noticing a lot of, and graphic design is definitely something that I would say is specific to marketing a lot of times. You have these really, I mean, D1 schools that have incredible graphic design programs, OSU being one of them. I saw one recently of A&M, their mascot Reveille. She had gotten eye surgery, and they had AI generated a photo of her in the stadium with an eye patch on. You have a graphic design school that these students are being taught how to do these things, like that you could be getting your content from, but instead you're using AI. And honestly, it feels like a bit of a waste of the money that they're paying the school whenever they're, the creations that they're putting out there aren't being used and appreciated. And that's something that I think that OSU does a great job at running their social medias a lot of times, but that was something I was definitely critical of. I could probably name 3 people right now that I know that are, graphic design specific, or, they have a graphic design specific major that could have done that. And there wouldn't have been typos in the spelling of things, and things would have been more detail oriented. And also, too, another big topic is the amount of energy that it uses. And where is it getting the energy to generate all of this content that we're asking it to?
Oh, it consumes massive amounts of electricity to run these data centers.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And so it really, while I think that AI is a great tool, I think it also does beg the question of, like, is it always ethical, too?
That's a great question to ask, as well as what are the consequences like to the environment?
Yeah.
Because the usage of AI is only going one direction right now.
Yeah.
And the sophistication of the tools is only getting better and better. You talk about graphic design.
Yeah.
Let's look at that as an example. Can AI be as creative as a human? Probably not today. I don't think AI can match the creativity of a gifted graphic designer. But what can it do?
Yeah.
Is it can do a job well enough right now for a fraction of the cost that I have to pay a person to do that. And in marketing and in business, agility is key, right? You got to get there first before someone beats you to it, whatever the opportunity might be.
Yeah.
If you're trying to launch a brand and develop, a visual identity, and the old way of doing it was you hire an agency that had graphic designers, or you had your own team of graphic designers, and they spend 2 weeks putting together, portfolios of things for you to look at and consider. I like that one, but not that one. And then they go back and refine it. A month later, maybe you have something, maybe you don't. With AI, you can get that in minutes, right? With the right kind of prompt and refine it. And so we've all heard the stories that you can tell AI to, render a picture of a person in a certain setting, doing a certain activity, and it does it, and then you look down and it's got, instead of feet, it's got horses' hooves or something crazy like that. Yeah, okay, true. I've heard those stories too. Is it going to get better? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That may be where the technology is now, but it's going to get better. The ethical concern also is, as AI is doing all these things we ask it to do, creating content, whether it's visual content or words, is it respecting copyrighted material? Is it respecting privacy? Because we all know there's stuff about us online that we wish weren't online, and we don't know how to get it off of there, right?
Yeah.
And we also know that there's a lot of copyrighted material online, but does ChatGPT or any generative AI technology respect the fact that, I shouldn't harvest content from here to create my stuff because this is copyrighted.
Yeah.
And even though it's modifying it, right? And so these are a lot of questions that have not yet been answered.
Yeah.
Need to be answered, and maybe they will, maybe they won't.
No, absolutely. And I think when you look too at like branding in respect to even like, this is just one example, but branding in respect to like, you know, the different political parties, there's so many AI generated videos, pictures, things that I just see on my Facebook timeline that somebody that's familiar with AI and can tell normally when something is AI generated and when something is actually real. Like, I can pinpoint that out and be like, okay, this is misinformation or disinformation. Like, this isn't correct. My grandma might not be able to, though. And then I think
not just your grandma.
Not just, I mean, a lot of people. Yeah, that was kind of ageist of me.
Well, and I think that's, yeah. Hey, I'm wounded.
You know, but you're one, you're not my grandma's age, and two, like, you're more familiar with the concept now, especially like just given its impact on what you teach and what you've done in the past.
Well, and I think the tendency for us is if AI generated it, we want to believe it. We want to think it's true, it's right, it's accurate. Otherwise, it wouldn't have generated it, and that's not always the case. And I think that's one of the big questions we all are going to have to grapple with is how do we know what is truth and what is not?
Exactly. No, I agree. I think it'll be really interesting in the coming months and years to see its effects on, you know, human competence. I think job market. I think a lot of people in a lot of different industries are going to have to pivot with what they're doing because of I don't think it's a monster. I think it's a supplement. It's meant to supplement your work, but I think people are leaning on it a bit too much at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But I want to lean more into personal life. So tell us about Lisa, big girl dad, right? All girls.
All three of my daughters.
All girls.
All three of my kids are girls.
All three girls. No, that's awesome. Tell me about them.
Lisa's great.
Lisa.
Eleanor's personal side of my life is Lisa was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago and pursued non-traditional forms of treatment very successfully and is doing very well. Is healthier now probably than she's been in years. I'm very blessed to have her as my wife. And we've been married for 41 years. So credit Lisa.
Yay!
For putting up with me that long. We have 3 daughters. They're all adults. They're all off the family payroll. The oldest one lives in Flagstaff, Arizona. The middle one lives in Stillwater. The youngest one lives in Cave Springs, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we get to see the middle and the youngest one more often. Flagstaff's a little farther away, a little harder to get to.
Yeah.
It's always a precious time when we're together. We were all together on vacation recently.
So exciting.
And it was just really fun, rewarding for Lisa and I to look at our kids and the relationships they have with each other now and how they have fun with each other and interact. Our youngest daughter showed up on vacation, pulled up outside the Airbnb, got out of the car wearing a T-shirt that said "Favorite Daughter," and the other 2 just thought it was hilarious. They thought that was funny.
You're like, what a joke! No, that's awesome. So, yeah, girl dad. I feel like you being a parent has led a lot, or I guess, cut this. Hold on, let me start over. I feel like you being a parent has bled into your career as a professor, or like the portion of your career that being a professor is taken up. Because no, definitely I do. I mean, I definitely do feel like you're a bonus dad, and you're very paternal, very good at it. So no, that's awesome. Any grandkids yet?
No grandkids.
No grandkids.
Would love to have some, but none yet.
We'll see. So 2 of your daughters are married, right?
Just one.
Just one. One's married. Okay. That's good stuff. That's awesome. So any big fun trips that you and Lisa have planned for the upcoming months, upcoming year?
We've already kind of had a big travel year already.
Yeah.
I got to do a study abroad trip to Iceland over spring break, which was fantastic.
Awesome.
It was on my bucket list to go there, and I finally did. So that was great. We've been to Colorado twice already this summer.
Awesome.
Once in our camper and once in an Airbnb up in the mountains, and always to the mountains.
Good
So
stuff.
we have a trip scheduled to one of the state parks in Arkansas, a camping trip
Fun.
at the very beginning of November. We'll take our camper up there, and so I don't know that we have any other trips planned, but you never know.
Yeah. No, y'all are on the road quite a bit. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I
And
like traveling.
You've gotten to do a lot of different study abroad trips. Which ones have you done thus far?
Done two.
Done
so
two?
last year,
I thought it was more than that.
well, I have a third one coming up next year. Last year, I went to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
We took about 42 students.
Yeah.
This year was Iceland with about 25 students. Next year, I'm scheduled to go to Canada.
Awesome. I
So,
love that.
Hopefully, I can get enough students to go.
Love me some Justin Trudeau. I'll tell you that. I know they don't, but I do. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, I think
He's not prime minister.
I know. It's really that's why I said they don't love him. He got booted. It was sad.
He did.
Yeah, but no, that's awesome. I think world travel, something that I've touched on a lot on this podcast, has been how traveling, whether it be world or just within the States, I think it makes people not only more knowledgeable, but I think it also makes them more empathetic, and I think it broadens worldview. And also, I feel like it's definitely led me to be appreciative of some of the systems that the U.S. has in place, but also critical of others.
For sure.
And so that's been one of my favorite parts about traveling, for sure. But what were your favorite parts of your study abroad trips that you got to go on?
Oh, well, different experience. So Japan, we went to Tokyo and Kyoto. Tokyo is the most populated city in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 36 or 39 million people. Can't remember which it is.
That's crazy.
It's a lot. But
One or the other turned upside down.
Yeah. Here's the funny part of that. So we were in the largest city in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the second night we were in Tokyo, and we were on our own to eat. And so a group of students said, hey, come with us. We found a place on TikTok that's amazing ramen, hole-in-the-wall place. It's about a 20-minute walk. I'm like, I'm in. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk there, and we get there, and there's a line. And as we're standing in line, we hear a person, not in our group, call out the name of one of the students in our group. It was actually a girl named Ainsley. She goes, Ainsley?
Ainsley Fleming, right?
Yes.
Love her. She's
Ainsley,
awesome.
is that you? And we all turn and look and head. And here in the city of 39 million people in Tokyo over spring break is another OSU student and his family who happened to be there at the same time and chose the same restaurant. What are the chances?
It's crazy. Okay, I have a similar story to that. When I went on my study abroad to Italy and Greece, we were in the middle of the streets of Rome. It was late. It was pretty late at night, and well, no, it was probably like 8 or 9. We had just gotten done with dinner. They eat dinner a lot later over there. What I learned.
Yes.
And I see she was this girl to me at this time, and I was like, hold on, she looks really familiar. And I call out, I'm like, Michaela. It's one of my sorority sisters. I had no idea she was going to be in Rome. Had no clue. In the middle of like one of the busiest streets in Rome, literally saw one of my sorority sisters and fellow OSU.
Isn't it strange how sometimes life does that to you?
I was just like, what are the
chances,
odds?
right? Yeah,
like seriously, how? Like I don't even think she knew that I was there. I had no idea she was there, and I mean, just happened to see her. It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, I think that's something that's really cool too. Yours is definitely more relevant to this because obviously, like, I have a personal relationship with Michaela, but like, you know, I feel like there have been a lot of places that I've gone to, and I'll be wearing an OSU shirt or an OSU hat, and that just starts like a natural relationship or just like a commonality between random passerbys that all see that are like, whoa, I went to school there. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite parts about it for sure, or has been one of my favorite parts about having gone there, is just like the very, very big sense and strong sense of community that I think that we create no matter where we are, no matter how different we are. It's like that's always something that holds everybody together. And I think
there's usually some kind of thing you can connect on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Funny story enough, in Greece, there was a group that was that they said that they had went to OSU, and one lady had said that she worked in Spears, and I can't remember her name for the life of me, but I was naming all of these professors. Like, I first named your name. I was like, do you know Jerry? No. I named all of these people off, okay? And she had no idea who any of them were. Long story short, I think she was lying. She had to have been. Because the people that I named, obviously including you, very prominent people within Spear School of Business. There is no way in hell that you cannot know the list of people that I named. Like, there was just
someone at least.
You had to know someone. Didn't know any of them. And I was like, and she just looked at me weird, and I was like, you're a liar. You smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa. Have you seen Elf?
Oh, yeah. Smiling's my favorite.
Smiling's my favorite. No, it's a great movie. Anything with Will Ferrell is quite literally on my list of favorite things to watch for sure. Step Brothers, that's something I didn't even talk about. How did I forget this?
I don't know. Do we even have time?
We do. Just a couple more things, and this is one of them. So, another great story that I have that is a really good representation of the strength of my personal relationship with Jerry. This is before I even really, really knew him, but I had taken note of the fact that he wore sweater vests to class every day. Not every day, but it was rather consistent. And so I had this amazing idea. I think it's one of the best ideas, one of my most popular Instagram posts I've ever made in the entirety.
It was for one of your sorority parties.
No, it wasn't. It was for Halloween.
Oh, I thought it was a sorority party. So.
It was great. So Step Brothers is like one of the, if not my all-time favorite movie. I think it's great. It's awesome. Cinematic masterpiece, if you will. And obviously in the infamous picture where Brennan and Dale are taking like a JCPenney style family photo shoot, they're wearing sweater vests. And so I'd had the idea for my boyfriend Carson and I say my boyfriend Carson and I, like, people that listen to this don't know who he is. We're not there yet, but we will be one day. So
have him on the podcast.
Yeah, no, he said it's gonna take a while for him to warm up to getting on here, which I can't blame him. But hopefully maybe I accumulate some more listeners if you repost our pod together. But anyways, yeah, so I actually came up to Jerry in class and asked him if he had 2 sweater vests that I could borrow for Halloween, my Halloween weekend in College Station with my hometown buddies. And so Jerry actually so graciously lended me his sweater vest for Carson and I to wear, and I'll have to
You sent me the picture.
I did. I'll have to pull up the picture so people can see it if they haven't seen it before. But it truly, I think, is the best Halloween costume I have ever done. Like, it was incredible.
It's honestly a little disturbing.
My boyfriend and I going as brothers for Halloween. But it really was similar. The resemblance was uncanny, and it was a great Photoshop on my behalf, if I do say so myself.
100%.
No, for sure. Okay, so to round us out, I have a really good question for you. Obviously, the Coldplay and Astronomer CEO thing has been all of the rage within the past few weeks, caught worldwide media's attention like nobody's business. So, if you were head of marketing, branding, PR, what have you, whatever they label that as in their company, how would you have approached the situation, and what would be your plan in order to get them back on their feet and kind of revive their name? And how would you look at the situation?
Yeah, funny that you told me before we started recording this pod that we were going to talk about this, and so here we are finally at the end. We're getting around to what I thought we were going to talk about. So I'm glad we got here.
Yes, don't worry, we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
a lot of yapping beforehand.
No, but it's been fun. So I honestly think they did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the principles I think companies have to have. Well, the first principle is every company has to have a set of values before you ever experience a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That says, here's what we're going to do when there is a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you wait till you have a crisis to say, what are our values, you're probably going to pick the wrong values because you have pressure on you, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what their values were, but regardless, one of the things they did was basically they were honest. They said, okay, yeah, that was our CEO and that was our head of HR.
Yeah.
And they didn't try to hide the fact or make some cover story or distance themselves from it. And I think the fact that they just pretty much acknowledged and embraced it made it more of a non-story. It didn't make it a non-story, but it made more people go, oh, not much to see here. But what happened, the brilliant marketing that they did afterwards was hiring Gwyneth Paltrow to kind of make fun of themselves, right? They put together this hilarious video. If you haven't seen it, you must go out and find it.
I'll link it.
And the beauty of this whole thing is it is unfortunate about what these two people in leadership did. They used poor judgment. Everyone agrees about that. The CEO had to step down. That was probably the right call and the right thing that should have happened.
She recently stepped down too.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew that she hadn't initially stepped down.
Mm-hmm.
But look at what the situation that's been handed to this company. How many people listening to this podcast or just in general knew who this company was or what they did?
No clue.
Very few. I never heard of them before the Coldplay incident. And now everybody knows who they are, and they're capitalizing on that.
Oh, absolutely.
They hired Gwyneth Paltrow. They made this really funny spoof commercial. At the end of the commercial, she is promoting some event they have in September. They're probably going to have record registration and attendance at that event, more brand awareness than they ever had. So they took a bad thing that happened, and they're turning it into good. And the fact that they were honest about what happened and didn't try to cover it up or hide it or deflect away from it, to their credit, I think they handled it the right way, and they did as good a job as I can imagine a brand doing with a situation like this.
No, I thought it was rather incredible as well. It was great. For context, for those of you that don't know, lead singer Chris Martin of Coldplay was once married to Gwyneth Paltrow. So that is the irony in them hiring her to do this commercial. I'll have to definitely link it because I do think it was incredible. I feel like there have been a lot of things or instances in marketing and just like company media and branding within the past year that have just been crazy to me, like absolutely diabolical. But then, like you said, I'd never heard of this company. They were already doing well without us even knowing who they were, given that they are worth $1.3 billion. It's a lot of cheese. But no, I think they handled it really well as well as you do. So,
and it says something else about the culture of the company that
Yes.
they're willing to do this. They're willing to kind of poke a little fun at themselves through this commercial, not take themselves too seriously. But the other thing they were willing to do is, to use a phrase, strike while the iron is hot.
yeah.
You know, if they had gotten together in the boardroom and debated for 2 weeks, should we do this commercial? Should we hire Gwyneth Paltrow? The moment would have passed. And when they finally got around to doing it, a lot of people would have forgotten, what was this about again?
Yeah.
But the timing was right. They hit it perfectly. They got the right person. The subtle connection between Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin, the lead singer of Coldplay. I mean, all those things work together and make you think that's so clever.
Yeah.
And they did it quickly. They got it out there, and they're drawing a lot of attention to themselves from something initially that was bad, but they are going to reap, I'm sure, huge financial benefits from the after effect based on what they've done.
No, absolutely. I'll have to keep you updated and posted on when we go to Coldplay if anything crazy or controversial happens.
And that's one concert I'd love to go to sometime.
Isn't I'm telling you, I am so excited, and admittedly, it is kind of the main reason we're going to London, but it was like an excuse to go to London and like explore
I'm jealous.
a place we've never been to before. So
A fun place to go and a cool concert.
yeah, no, for sure. I'm super excited about it. I probably will get emotional. This is a band I've grown up on, and so I remember being like 5 years old, just in the car.
What's your favorite Coldplay song?
Coldplay song, Strawberry Swing. In My Place. In My Place is another good one. So these are two ones that are a little bit more underground, not one of their main ones. Of course, Viva La Vida, Clocks, all of those incredible Adventure of a Lifetime, Hymn for the Weekend. I mean, they've got like a million different songs that are all on my playlist. Like, of course, Scientist, Fix You Yellow, all of them. I could name probably their whole set list that they're going to play. I'm pretty pumped. Like, True Blue fan, to be honest. I've told my friends since day one, I was like, if I had a deathbed wish, it would be to see Coldplay at the Sphere in Las Vegas. But I'm going to be seeing them at Wembley Stadium. And we scored tickets for a great price. They shot up after we scored them. I was like, yes. So nobody loves a good deal like me. But yeah, that rounds out our conversation. Jerry, tell them what courses you're teaching for any OSU students listening that need a marketing credit, because like I said in the beginning of this pod episode, you need to take them with Jerry.
Yeah, and if you're not majoring in marketing, switch. Join the largest
it.
Join the largest major in the whole OSU system, which is marketing.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
No. It's not the dark side. It's the bright side.
It's the bright side. Did you see that they were doing a barstool competition on what the easiest major was? And I think we might have gotten first.
I didn't see the outcome.
Okay.
We're going to find out right now in real time. I'm teaching marketing analytics, which is a required course for the major. I'm teaching digital marketing, which is a elective. And I also teach services marketing, which is another elective. So those are the 3 courses I teach multiple sections of.
Okay. I think I took all 3 of them. They haven't
announced the winner yet, but fashion, merchandising, and communications are the top 2. Right?
We made the cut. We made the cut. We did it.
They said marketing was harder than communications.
Okay.
Good. Right. We're more challenging. We love to hear that. I hate when people are like, you did coloring pages. I'm like, actually, I learned a lot of valuable information that not only tells me how to market a brand, but also market myself. So thank you.
Every company needs it.
Yes, exactly.
You want to generate revenue? You need marketing.
You really do. Everything needs it. But, Jerry, it has been a pleasure to have you on. I'm sure this is not the last time I'll have you on. We'll definitely have a follow-up episode at some point in time. But truly, not to get cheesy or emo, but you are the best. Like, one of my favorite professors, teachers, just mentors in general that I've ever had. And it is just a privilege to be able to have you on and for you to be a part of this, hopefully only the beginning of this journey that I'm going on, that is passion project turned podcast that hopefully will monetize at some point. So,
well, you're very kind to say all those things. It has been a lot of fun, and it's always good to see you.
It is always good to see you too. Make sure to grovel for some royalties in the instance that I become the next Alex Cooper.
Oh, you'll hear from me.
No, I hope I'll hear from you and not your legal team.
No, it'll be me.
I'll be sure to hire you for a minimal work consulting job, hopefully when a few of our current projects at the company I work for blows up. It is. No, I'm serious. My boss would absolutely love you. I wish he was here today for you to meet, but no.
Another time.
Everybody would love you. But no, pleasure to have you on. And yeah, as always, unironically, like, subscribe, share, comment, what have you. Even if you hated it, let me know how you felt about it. So I'm open to any and all feedback. I'm getting better at taking criticism, Jerry, so it's good stuff. But yeah, as always, see you next Thursday, and can't wait to hear what you all think on this episode of Y'all Heard. Thanks, Jerry.
See ya.